Here is Texas the Omertosa. I wish I could roll my R's so I could constantly say Omertosa like a true Italian and make Tyler 1 machine gun sounds, but sadly, God gave me his hardest battle. A lot of people see Texalter as the hot anime baddie wolf girl, but I instead look at her like she's a giant eraser. Even though it's slightly more objectifying because I literally am seeing her as an object, I think it's more accurate. Texalter is the ultimate mistake corrector. Calcit ordered you to be my bodyguard? I don't really think I need one. The only time my life was actually in danger was 4 years ago at the intersection of Sargon when I was charged with 10 counts of vehicular manslaughter. Nah, don't worry about it, I beat the allegations. But yeah, I don't need a bodyguard. Texas the Omertosa is a fast redeploy operator, so she sacrifices some of her stats for getting only a fourth of the deployment time of a usual operator. Sacrifices is in very big quotes, by the way, for reasons you'll see later. Her first talent gives her a bunch of attack when her skill is active. After getting the last hit, League of Legends style, on an enemy, her skill will reactivate and Texas will recover all her HP. Because this talent only refreshes the skill duration and not extends it, if you wanted to maximize skill uptime, you'd have to get that last hit right before her skill duration ends. This is hard. Unironically, the emo wolf girl basically obliterates anything you plop her down on, so that silly min-maxing skill uptime idea doesn't really matter 90% of the time. If she does happen to run out of skill juice, Texas can kill a small enemy like a slug and her skill will reactivate. The HP refresh is a decent way for her to sustain herself considering she is a fast redeploy, so you're gonna be spamming her around the map away from your setup. Her second talent gives her free attack speed and damage reduction if she hasn't killed her first enemy yet. You know how I said that fast redeploys have worse stats than usual ops because of their redeployment time? Well, yeah, both of these talents kinda just make her not have that flaw anymore. So with these two talents, Texalter gets a free 20% attack as long as her skill's up, along with guaranteed good damage reduction until she kills her first enemy, and when she does, she gets all her HP back and her skill refreshes. Both these talents are already really strong for a fast redeploy, so let's see what's up with their skills. There aren't any scary assassins around me, I can't really think of a reason why I'd be on a hit list. You sense a presence here? I don't see anyone besides us. Maybe something's off with your presence detector or whatever. Just like every fast redeploy, all of Texalter's skills are passive skills that immediately start when she's deployed. Her first skill increases her attack and makes her attacks silence the target for 10 seconds. The enemies that she hits take arts damage over time until the skill duration is over. If Texalter manages to reactivate the skill with her first talent, the arts DOT and silence won't refresh on the enemies that are alive and have it, so there's her first L. There's not much reason to use a skill because it's a skill 1 and all her other skills straight up do more damage. It also doesn't have an AoE like her S2 and S3. Maybe you'd use it for the silence, but that's like an edge case here because have fun figuring out which enemies are silenceable. It's not a bad skill on paper and it's usable, but the opportunity cost of her other skills are just so much greater. Texalter's second skill makes her immediately deal big arts damage in the 8 surrounding tiles, inflicting a res debuff on them for 10 seconds. Her attacks during the skill duration deal arts damage and hit twice, and she gets an increase in attack. This skill is deceivingly gross. It doesn't look like she deals a lot of damage. We've seen bigger numbers than a 240% attack scale and a plus 55% base attack modifier, but because her basic attacks hit twice and deal arts damage, Texalter will shred most enemies you hella drop her on, and may God have mercy on their soul when she activates the skill again. She straight up out DPS's Sitter by 1000 damage per second, which is already nasty, and has a better version of Res Shred. Because Wolf Woman's Res Shred is debuff and not ignore, other arts damage operators can benefit from it. Red Woman's arts resistance is ignore, so she only benefits herself. On 70 or higher res enemies, Texalter's debuff is more powerful than Surtur's first talent. You might argue that 70 res enemies aren't common, but there is an entire chapter dedicated dedicated to that, so yeah. You're bound to use Texas over Surtur in most cases, with the biggest part of her usage coming from her fast redeploy branch. You get to spam Miss Omertosa all over the map like a schizophrenic maniac, while redeploying Surtur will make you wait a fat minute. Surtur isn't completely dead, however. It would be really bad if she got power crept. She still wins over Texalter when you want total damage, range, multi-target, or tanking. This sounds like she has a lot of power over Texalter, but in reality this situation only comes in when you're trying to kill something super tough, like the cars in CC11 at max risk. Otherwise, it's better to use Texas. Texas the Omertosa's third skill deals arch damage in the 8 surrounding tiles again, just like her second skill, but this time it also stuns the enemy's hit for 2 seconds. After that, swords will rain from the sky every second, hitting 4 different targets, dealing more arch damage and stunning the enemy hit for a short period of time. Even though this skill doesn't deal as much damage as her second, it's still pretty good for its multi-target. The skill does enough to chunk down most enemies, and most of the time S2 is overkill for most elites, instantly deleting them. The stun times are short, so they might not seem like they're that good, but any stun at all means you can attack cancel, and especially with the swords coming down every second, Texas can neutralize some pretty big threats. The skill can also hit air, unlike her skill 2. With this in mind, you can solo stages like R88 with Texalter. She can also solo risk 21 in CC11, so that's also a thing because of her multi-targeting. Texalter's mod gives her more attack if there's no allies in the 4 adjacent tiles. The mod upgrade increases the talent that increases her attack when her skills are active. There's nothing really special about this mod, it's just damage, damage, and even more damage. Use it if you want damage. Good job. Thumbs up. With both of Wolfwoman's skills in mind, it seems like Phantom's become obsolete. And yeah, you're right, he's pretty much dead now. There's really no sugarcoating this one. If you try using him for damage, his S2 does nowhere near enough damage compared to Texalter's S2. If you're looking for crowd control, Texalter's S3's stun can mostly do the job with way more damage than the Theater Kid. But Phantom benefits from having longer CC times if you add his clone to the mix, and if the enemies are stun immune, he has his bind or slow options. It's kind of sad that he's mostly been reduced down to only being usable when you want his clone for something, since you can't have 2 Texalters in a single Texalter, which would be really scary if that actually happened. If you're wondering which skills you should mastery, I prefer using S2 because it just erases most of my problems from existence. S3 is pretty good too, but I don't use it as much, mostly since it's less damage and I use Texalter for single targets and not groups of enemies. Anyways, that's it. See ya. I don't know what you're talking about. How is this pizza poisonous? It actually tastes pretty good. You should try some.